Ladies and gentlemen, Kei Kim here. Welcome to the Daily Update. Hope you guys had a good day trading on Friday. Market is up about 0.4% there. On the S&P, Nasdaq did better, 1.2%. Semiconductor, half a percentage positive. Looks like Dow was flat though. Russell 2000 up 0.5%. Transport is down close to 1%. Banks made a move here, close to 2% positive. Actually, the banks led the entire market on Friday. I remember like a lot of bank stocks were up quite a bit, like 3 to 4% or something like that. Your Bank of America, your Goldman Sachs, your Wells Fargo, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, a lot of those stocks were up quite a bit on Friday. And also energy stocks, right? Your Chevron, your Exxon Mobil, your Halliburton, a lot of these energy stocks were. So those two sectors, what kept the market going. Here's energy stocks coming up here. Some of these guys were up quite a bit. So it looks like healthcare is down. Looks like home builders down about 2%. So home builders was the lagger for the day on Friday. Utilities down, retail up, emerging market up there. Bitcoin popped about 13%. There, gold, silver, miners slightly green. Looks like dollar down, oil up quite a bit, 2%. Treasury bond about 1.5%. VIX down about 5% there. Let's stick with S&P 500 ETF. Spider, 65-minute chart here. So this is where we closed on Thursday, and this is where we opened up on Friday. So you can see we opened up pretty much flat there, right? We opened flat, and then what happened was my micro-term move, and when I zoom out, you'll see it, and this is what I talked about on Thursday, daily update analysis, right? So there's my micro-term moving average in that vicinity. Look at the long wicks there, high wave spinning top. There's a lot of indecision, right? It looks like during the intraday, market went up, came right back down or something like that, or the other way, came down, got back up, but it's intraday kind of indecision. Move there, and then on the second hour it looks like bears pushed this. So at one point this candle looked like this, looked bearish, breaking below my micro-term moving average. But guess what, my short-term moving average was just underneath it to make sure to catch that low should there be any kind of decline. So there was a kind of a double support, my micro-term and the short-term moving average working together, not to mention 444 prior resistance, prior swing high. And when I zoom out, you see all of this, right? So with that on the second hour, we see that hammer-like candle there, like long lower wick, small body at the top, right? And with that, we see that follow through. And then we see on the fourth hour, make a move, fifth hour, and buyers got, buyers, they went for it. They made that move on the last hour. But do you remember where this is? That's the gap area, right? So buyers got back up. We hit that gap area. This is not a mistake. This is not a coincidence. This is not an accident. This is not a random occurrence that when the bulls got up, we hit that gap area, and you can see that long red poopy candle there. If you're a buyer, that's gonna look like a poopy candle there, right? I mean, it sort of does, because you can see there's a long upper wick, and then, your poop coming up. So there's that shooting star with, not really quite of a shooting star. To be a shooting star, you gotta have a small body and long, upper wick. So that's not a shooting star. I'll call it a poopy star, right? So we got the poopy star, and that's a bearish candle right there. That's a bearish candle. Basically, bulls were not able to finish the day strong. Bears just came back in. Bears are really strong in these gap areas, and we can see, I can zoom out and you see how bears are just waiting in this level, right? Because same thing happened right here. Bulls brought it up, right? Near that gap area, but my long-term moving average was in that vicinity, right? What happened? Bears brought it down. Bulls bring it up again on Friday, intraday. And then we get to the gap area. What happened? That poopy candle there. So looking at that candle, if there's any kind of follow through on Monday to the downside, best case scenario for the bears is to gap it down. Any kind of weakness, if we see any kind of downside follow through, bears gonna bring it down 444, maybe even below, even at least retest that moving average, my short-term moving average at 444, prior resistance, right? With that poopy candle there, right? So that's kind of what we're dealing with. And this is what we talked about on Thursday, that, bears ain't going nowhere as long as this gap remains open. And now we got two down gaps open. Not to mention, we got my midterm moving average, my long-term moving average. A lot of weapons are, these weapons being cocked, and they're just waiting. And bears are just waiting to shoot bulls down. Every time bulls get up, they're shooting bulls down. So what the buyers need to do, they need to pull something here. If you want to see a miracle, bulls got to get up here, fill this gap as quickly as possible, maybe pull back or something like that, and fill both of these gaps as quickly as possible. If they don't fill these gaps as quickly as possible, what's going to happen is bears are going to continue to bully the bulls around. So you can see we got 444 there, and next level 438. And also there might be this level here. I haven't right here. Let me draw that a little better. Let's see here. Let's draw that in for now so you can see we got that potential, right? We don't know yet how this support is gonna play out, but there's a potential level of support. So we can see bulls got something to work with here. This entire vicinity, 444, 438, right? That's the level that bulls want to protect. We lose this level, this band of support, bears gonna bring it down to 426, maybe even back down to the wick here, which is 420. So you don't want to see 430s and 420s. You're a bull here. You protect 440s, this entire level. Let's check out that oscillator and see if we can extract any more information. So right now, interesting thing has occurred here. So we see that the bulls, or the oscillator, is actually favoring the buyers with this cross. But just the cross, a lot of times doesn't mean a whole lot until we see a follow through day next day, right? I talked a lot about this in the entire month of January. Follow through, follow through, follow through. One day move does not make a trend. Well, thankfully and fortunately for the bulls, that they are building something here. You see, that's not a one day, right? We bottomed here. We cultivated these short-term higher lows and higher highs. So bulls been building something. And on top of that, we have this oscillator currently favoring the buyers. So what the bulls need, if they want this momentum to continue, is to see a follow-through green day on Monday if they want the oscillator to support the bulls. And you want to see something like this, where bulls can make that move. You see what I'm saying? But keep in mind though, if we see bearish day on, if we see a bearish day on Monday, whipsawing action could happen. You see these where it looks like we crossed up, but then you kind of whipsaws back and forth. That's when bears can bring it back down, make bulls' life miserable, right? So usually, on the weekends, I do these weekly update videos. I've decided I wanted to do these 65-minute, but I'm going to look at it really, really quick for you guys, because there isn't a whole lot. Because last weekend, this was when things were very gloomy. It was right here. We talked about the rising pivot, right? We want to give benefit of the doubt to the buyers in the long term. We talked about that. We actually saw that move pulling back a little bit. Might some of these short-term moving averages on the daily. Keep in mind, now we're looking at daily chart, not 65-minute. So that's kind of what we're happening here. So we might get a little bit more information next weekend. So we'll do the more in-depth analysis next weekend. Quickly with GLD, which is gold, same thing, right? Life is hard in gold market here. That resistance still needs to get above that resistance. Not able to do so. However, we're not in a true downtrend because we got the higher lows along with the lower highs. You see, these are higher lows. So that means either we're kind of consolidating, building a base. We don't know yet until this thing breaks out either to the upside or downside. So that we're just kind of still waiting here. One last one, let you guys go with this. Bitcoin. Bitcoin did see that move. I've drawn this support last week. Looks like we held at the gap area. Strong bounce here. Some of these gap needs to be filled. I'm gonna come back for you. We'll reassess the situation. Enjoy your evening. Good luck trading next week.